I'm not quite sure I want to go as far to say it's going to be a 1-1, but I do think, again, we can look to see, you know, another run for their money, per se.
Yeah.
Because we've seen this map before be played by GTN against Xenix, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a win for them there, but it was not necessarily a clear one-sided stomp, if I recall.
Actually, GTN versus Xenix, let me have a think. It was GTN on their CT side where they went 12-3 versus Xenix, but then Xenix on their CT side went, you know, I believe it was 12-1.
They went even harder, basically.
Oh, sorry, 13-1 or something like that. Generic team name on their T side Cobblestone, when they first played it against Xenix, only won 1 or 2 rounds, but they had such a strong CT showing, so could we see the reverse? Strong T side from GTN and Fish123 in the previous map, potentially a strong CT showing here.
I certainly am going to be looking to see what the CT side can do, but this is Cobblestone, remember, so we have to take stock of that. The T side really is the aim of the game. That T side, that's where you really can get the bulk of your work done.
The 6 rounds is what you're aiming for. I mean, even 8 is fine if you lose the pistol, so pistol round coming underway. Now let's take a look at the buy as well. What would generic team opt to do? And same goes for Fish123. What would their setup be? Kit, double flash onto Trouble, so they can play retake and can play nice and slow if they need be. 5 sets of armor, we could be seeing a straight drop to B or drop to A.
There's certainly a couple of options left to be explored, as it is going to be that quick drop, and AHB, the man to really keep your eyes on right now, as he finds the first headshot by Cryptix. He's going to respond, finds the quick snapping in return, but nonetheless, things, they are beginning to crackle on up, as it's going to be Major Lee to find the frag on towards Weber. Pickles still going to be able to respond on towards Snaky, but nonetheless, you have to look at Fish right now and go, they have the disadvantage. Then take stock of where that bomb is going to be running to. It's over towards that A site, and they can't quite even get it across quick enough. It's going to get over fairly unimpeded. They do have that kit, so the retake is still going to take place, and that's really, you know, the ever-looming factor.
2 players in drop, and you saw what happened. Fish123, they went for the heavy drop, but there was 3 players from GTN that faced towards drop. Even though AHB died, 2 more players followed him, backed up, and they kept control of drop. That's so important. They didn't allow the T's to have it. And now in the retake towards A, can GTN pull this through?
Certainly am going to be excited to see if they can do that work, but for now the bomb is going to be ticking on away. The clock is going to keep on running. We have to see what they can deliver, as it is going to be Pickles and Zeo to combine. Majorly will find one in return, but even then, how far is it going to go? 66 HP, what a way to do it. HP not even being a part of it. It's Pickles, the drive-by. Great round coming out from him.
So we saw that, generic team, and they had the numbers advantage. The problem is, Fish123, retaking A as the CT is so hard, especially when Pickles won that duel in mid and did not allow for the backstab to come from GTN. The 2 versus 2, Pickles wins the 1 versus 1. Was it Major Lee? Yeah, it was Major Lee. Only 20 HP, and the kit was dropped to a place where he couldn't retrieve it. So unfortunately for him, the 10-second defuse made it so difficult for him. So they had the kit, they bought the kit, but they couldn't utilize it.
Zeo, he's got himself that SMG, gonna peek on out on the drive-by. Oh, it's gonna be ever so plentiful, aided by Cryptix, of course, but even then, it's still SMGs doing the damage, exactly what they need. As Zeo, just another to add to the tally, and it's gonna be just such a bountiful money-making round for Fish123, not complaining at all, and well, let's see if they can even do any damage at all, and the answer for that, it's going to be denial.
SMGs are there picking up 4 of those frags, so the money is going to be looking so good for Fish123. We see that GTN, they do like to go for those double saves. We see UFrag pull that through as well. Didn't go in their favour yesterday versus FM, but it still brought out some interesting setups. They allowed UFrag to go for the double lock setup, Hype and Adam AWPing there. Can GTN have better luck though?
Oh, we certainly can hope. Of course, they were a team that managed to really garner the support of us, get themselves virtually placed into our hearts, but unfortunately, a heartfelt attempt is just that, heartfelt, not necessarily based on what they can actually deliver and whether it was perhaps even a bit of overhype for now, as it is going to be Weber to find it first. And it's going to be a quick second and third to even connect all on an individual basis. Group Cryptix to find a second for his troubles, and one by one, these pistols, they seem to go.
Yep, so I'm not going to be spending much time on that round, as that's just more of a bloodbath. Instead, talking about this round. They have the money, they can go double up, one up towards A, one up towards B. Actually a very strong setup on the CT side. We see SK Gaming loving to go for that cold 0 towards B and then fall on towards A. Instead, they're going to opt for the single op setup to Trouble. And actually, that's important. They dropped the AWP to him, so they're going to keep the cash onto Trouble. That's so important that your AWPer has the economy.
It's just going to be absolutely incredible. Keeping the SMGs, it's a money-making round for them. That's kind of the initial objective, and it's going to be an interesting way to go about things. Disastrous stuff, as Major Lee will find himself a quick 2 kills, backed up, of course, by the team kill to be thrown into the mix. And for GTN, they have everything they need to really up the ante right now in this position. Pickles and Cryptix. Yeah. How do they claw their way out of this one? They are dug in a pretty damn deep hole.
I thought he said dog then.
I'm not that brutal.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, where can they find the picks? A 2 versus 5. They need to somehow make this a 2 versus 3.
It's a huge ask there.
It is a very, very tall ask, but definitely doable. Pickles and Cryptics. Having Pickles go first as the entry flag with his Chris Bain, but unfortunately for him, Isaac will win out. Tree, unexpected ankle. Pickles not preempting that and will go down. The spray coming out from both those kills from Isaac's M4. Frank's from mid with the team kill.
Yeah, really not the way to start things off, and perhaps this is the opportunity for GTN to...
It was the right call, though.
It was the right call, but getting that...
Right right execution.
Sometimes ideas, we talk about this quite a lot, ideas, they're one thing, but actually formulating that into a game plan and actually one that works, a whole different ballpark. And kind of what I want to really stress now is that GTN, they've got themselves an opportunity and a motivating factor much quicker.
This is smart as well. Trying to get that early pick and almost a clap there as well. They're giving away that they're playing heavy drop, and this means that now they can take control of B plant if they do wish so.
There's going to be...
Yeah.
The back one going to go for 100%. Cryptics is going to do some damage. So far, this one is anyone's taking. I don't really think this one is contestable by either court just yet. Looking towards the CT side and over what their game plan is going to be, I like the fact they have retained their presence on towards platform. The Snaky, he's got his work cut out for him. He needs the crossfire of Isaac to be absolutely perfect, but then Isaac, he's also stressing about drop zone. He doesn't quite know where to look, but he goes for the pre-fire on towards Cryptics. That's absolutely perfect. Zeo now looking to come out towards platform, and albeit Snaky will fall and Isaac next to follow, but Trouble, he's now going to be live with this AWP.
He needs to use the flashes from Pickles. Pickles needs to flash off the AWPer, otherwise they'll dry walk into his scope, and look what's happening. Trouble here can find another frag, and it's going to put Pickles in the 1 versus 2. The flash is failed. It doesn't quite get net the kill. Doesn't net the frag, doesn't net the refrag, but Pickles, sorry, Trouble there. 2 frags.
He totals it up with 4 kills in that round. Now, we talked about him a lot. We started to really kind of hype him up his performance in the latter end, and you made a really pivotal point. And it wasn't quite focused at Trouble. It was more about the team as a whole, about how getting those rounds, even if they don't close it out, is helpful. Trouble, he's come back firing in this second map, and
yeah, very strong showing on
I can only help but feel it's off the back of how much work he was able to do as an individual in that comeback in the first.
Not just that, but it's also the poor play from Fish123. Those flashes, when they use the flash, it can work for the Pickles though. He is such a good entry. Finds those frags. He's not afraid to go in for that challenge as well. So important.
Zeo going to be looking to get himself in towards drop, and he will pierce apart the head of AHB. But how far is he willing to go? How much brutality is he willing to bring to the table? It seems like he wants to be a bit more passive about this approach, play the lurking hole, and for the rest of his team, they're the ones going aggressive, but can they actually convert this into a round, get some real traction? Snaky, he's looking to deny as well before it can even really begin. They don't cross to the site. 2 frags will be claimed. Weber will at least find the headshot back in return, but is it going to be enough? A 2v2 is what we're looking towards. Of course, added into Pickles with a man sitting towards drop, totaling up to a pretty awkward one for the CT side, but even then, it's Pistols, the Tech-9s going close range, looking for that headshot. It's going to be a quick 1-for-1 traded out by Major League, adding to that tally, leading us back to 4 HP.
He's playing it smart. They're playing towards stairs, plays the headshot angle, but gives away his position. He needs to find a headshot fast and staying alive. Still staying alive. This is the problem though. He's so low HP, and yes, Major will win it. Pickles, I believe it was 4 HP, does go down from 1 bullet from Major League. Does get the headshot though. He did have 2 flashes, but at that point, he must have got the call that that player was low. So just trying to get that 1 bullet onto him to win that round. And 3-3. Fish123, they can still buy. To 19 as well, playing that single up setup, and we keep seeing the CTs drop the AWP Trouble, trying to keep his economy going. But to talk about this round as well.
Frank's like keeping
on the Deagle. Yeah, Frank's on the Deagle, so he might opt to go towards drop or maybe try and get picked B plat. Zeo tagging up Major Lee as well. Oh my god!
Zeo, you absolute monster.
He killed Major Lee as well.
That would have been perfect if it just almost a cherry on top if he was able to claim the life of Major League, but you have to look towards the map. That's really the pinnacle point, because not only has damage been inflicted, but the T side, they're actually already making their push, and, well, GTN, they don't even quite know what's happening. Isaac is going to look to stop this one, but how far can he actually go? Because his stamina gets a dwindling factor. Pistols looking to overwhelm him. The Deagle, yes, it looks a bit messy. Yes, it's not quite a pretty picture.
He hit the bomb! Oh dear.
Ridiculous decisions. The bomb now completely exposed in towards that smoke on drop zone. Cryptics will drop out, and it's going to be this dynamic duo of Zeo and Cryptics, the man himself, to try and make this one work, but then lining up in a smoke, and that alone proving to be something that GTN more than happy to take advantage of. Zeo, he goes for the shot, catches off a HP. The boost's not quite going to be adding too much to the things now. Snaky just going to be sitting tight, twiddling his thumbs, looking to make sure that the passive angle is going to be what held.
Please peek with the flash as well. We have the flash onto Zeo. Ops to smoke, this is good too. The problem is that this is an easy spam.
That is going to be proved right there. Snaky finds the headshot on easy spam that is almost just too obvious and too predictable for a player to try and employ, especially in this sort of position as Cryptics. He's going to throw that flash, but now he's facing two players in a single-handed aim shot. It's just not quite going to happen. The odds ever so stacked against his favor. And GTN, they get themselves a round advantage. And not only that,
it's such an easy spam though through that smoke where Zero planted. I mean, smoke off across the site, plant towards the site, allow the CT to have to push into the site, try and come left or right side of statue. Doesn't allow the spam, but instead Zero plants in the open. And I believe it was Snaker that got that kill, can't really remember. But anyway, one round leader for Generic Team. Such a pivotal round as well, as that puts Fish123's money on low buy. But why are you going for the boost when you versus pistols?
absolute crazy decisions being made by them, and they are going to get punished straight off the back of that. The Tech 9s of Fish123 completely dismantling GTN. We pumped them up, we gave them so much of our energy, and they've thrown it all away by one bad call, one bad decision. And that right there is how to get crushed 101. Isaac, he's the last man remaining, and what on earth can he possibly do?
Didn't even flash. Didn't even flash.
Mistakes were made. I think that's, you know, certainly prevailing
Miscalls
itself.
and misjudgment was definitely made. I mean, maybe he thought they were going to have AKs.
I mean, looking at economy,
They've won 4 rounds in a row, but the thing is, they got the plant down. Maybe they expected the AKs because they lost 3 in a row. That would put you at what? 1,400, 1,900, 2,400, plus the bomb plant. That's, you know, 800, 300. Even then, you have to expect Tech 9s.
something that is certainly going to sit with them for a little while.
Especially
but for
if
now,
they lose this.
let's not dwell in the past.
Oh, I just saw the money, actually.
Let's look
Are they forcing?
towards the future, and it looks like we are seeing the force up come back.
Oh, gosh.
You
Anyway,
seem pretty...
let's talk about this round, okay?
Well, the force up in itself.
Pistols, Mag 7. You've seen that Fish123 play heavy towards drop. Have 2 players play close drop. Have the Mag 7 in drop. Play for drop. Don't give it up. Don't allow Fish123 to play the split towards B. And try and hold the line.
It's all about holding that door, keeping it nice and shut, not letting anything get through at all cost, even if it means losing your own life. Let's see if they can at least trade off the back of that. Cryptics looking to at least open it off in a nice and succinct fashion. We'll get the shot on towards Snaky. Isaac being a bit more defensive. We'll drop down some utility. The frag grenade, smart from him. Just a bit more of a delaying factor, improving that presence will still exist.
Pickles. You've got to love him, haven't you? But unfortunately for him, he will go down.
Trouble. He's playing this close angle, and it's great from him, but Cryptics arguably should have been able to spot him out there, and Zeo now looking to really just walking around and pretty much perch this frag. Peeks the angle, headshot to connect, and it is now numbers beginning to run on down for the CT side.
All 4 of these players are B plat right now, so they're going to be walking into a tight choke point versus a Mag 7.
It's pretty much everything Isaac wants, but can he make the most of it? He finds it to the first, looks at a second, but the shots, they just aren't quite connecting, and that's just so uncomfortable, so disappointing. The opportunity for him to go huge, and nothing just comes up, trumps in his favour.
Lucky.
Fish, they knock the ball out of the park, and they get themselves to 5, and
Such a ballsy force buy as well. You don't have to get rounds on the board. It's 4-4 at that point. Allow Fish123 to go to 5. And buy this round. You're only looking to get 6 or so rounds.
that's what I wanted to ask. Like, what is the point of the net gain of doing that? What is the point, frankly, to actually?
You mentioned there. What's the net gain? What Fish123? If they lose a round, obviously, if they gain a round and they go to 5, what's the difference between Generic Team going 5 and Fish123 going 5? The 5 rounds on the T side isn't nowhere near as important as the 5 rounds or the 6 rounds on GTN CT side.
I'm going to take a leaf out of many a person's book at this point and go for the more comfortable and great look, which is pretty much just look at it from a positive. Learn from the mistakes for GTN. We know they're unexperienced, so we can, at times expect those sort of mistakes. But hey, they're taking advantage of Fish in this round. They get the free peek with a pistol. They get a quick and easy frag onto
No
those
armor though,
Cryptics.
so even though it's a 1-man advantage, you're going to be favouring Fish123 here.
But I can't. Well, to add to that even further, they actually want to gain that firepower, but that's going to be incredibly difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah, I mean, Fish123, you need money on Pickles as well. Nice shot there from Frankster. Can he follow up with a second? Let's see, well, 2 headshots there. Making that 1-man lead now for Fish123. Trouble here, trying to get 1 kill, and then we'll get traded out, hopefully.
How's he still there standing? Just given enough time to get the frag on towards Weather, certainly raises a bit of an eyebrow. But Zeo, he's gonna mop things up. Down he goes, as you say.
Now, do we have the AWP? That's the question. Ooh. Isaac can buy one, but I don't think he will.
Well, let's
Has
see.
he got the balls? No, he hasn't. So, going to play it nice and safe. I mean, he shouldn't really. Going the AWP, no armor, especially if you're Isaac. He plays on such a low sense. Actually plays on 1 sensitivity, 400 DPI. So, for him to swipe left and right and try and hit those flicks, my goodness.
Well, maybe he's just comfortable. Who knows? That's a pretty low sense though.
That is a very low sense.
The push is going to begin to formulate over towards his mid position. Majorly, the man to pretty much have the pressure racked onto his shoulders, but he's falling back. He's playing form very, very smart. Net's not only the first frag, but now the positional advantage. Frank's still going to look to deny it, but the split, it's not formulating quick enough. It's allowing him to do the work. Two frags to be connected.
I mean, the T's are split. They're not playing together. They're not playing for the trade frags. Look how far away. Look at the space between them. Even there again, Pickles gets one frag. Imagine there's someone behind him to trade that frag. Would have been the 2 versus 3 and the B bombs that would have been theirs. Instead, they're playing solo and individually. Yes, you're getting one kill, but the 1-for-1 trade at this point is in the favor of the CTs.
Everything is but crumbling for Fish. They have themselves a game plan, but it's just been torn apart by the lack of team play, is what it really can be put down to. As Cryptix is going to try and replant the flag outside of that stairs position, trying to pretty much retrace the steps of Olofmeister, but it's not going to happen as Isaac. He's just going to take his head clean off without really any sort of despair. Whether the last man remaining got himself an AWP, but whether, I hate to tell you, but no matter how many hops you try and pull off, that doesn't make you any better. That still makes you stuck in a 1v4 with a player quick on your heels from behind.
Well, but now, probably just going to try and save this. I mean, Generic team them as well. Their money won't be looking too strong, so might just opt to try and get a gun out of the hand of GTN. Lower their economy. He just doesn't want to die after time and have a net gain of 0 after this round. It's the flick on the trouble. Can he get another one? Yes, he can. Sloppy play from GTN. No flash there. Just try peeking into him. You know he has the AWP. Look at the money now. They have to buy 2 more rifles.
Yeah, it gets to a point when
this is the
once
point
you
where
start dishing out
Fish123
so
win
much
this,
damage,
they reset them.
yeah, it does start to kind of really build itself up into a pretty, I'd say, awkward position, to be honest. Of course, this is our 12th round, so we are beginning to get to the end of this half, and overall it's been pretty back and forth, but down to not necessarily the standard mannerisms that you originally would expect.
Julie needs to step up huge if he wants a chance of winning this round. We'll hear the information. And actually, Fish123 opted to go 4 people long. Trouble needs to find 1 more if he wants to have a chance in this round. Major Lee as well from the flank. Why is Frank not expecting that? They haven't cleared Matrix.
Yeah, Trouble, he's just bought enough time for Major Lee to swing it around as well. 2 great players coming in from these guys, just playing off of each other with the timing being absolutely on point. Zeo, he's going to get flashed and nice in the original flag.
Well.
He should be able to catch off Isaac, which he will secure, but at least looking to take this one step further. Drops Trouble with the AWP. Zeo still alive over towards Flowerpot. Cryptix to find another to really add to the tally. This one has swung backwards and forwards, but it leaves us at a 1v1 perch in a bit of a predicament. But Snicky, he lands that quick flick to the left, and Snaky.
Snaky.
Yeah, however you want to butcher his name.
Cast Snaky, Shaney, Jakey. That was not fun.
I can imagine that being pretty damn difficult. How did you deal with that? Give us a quick primer, a 101.
Just call them Jake and Shane. As
Seems like a really easy way of going about it.
They don't call me Snodsy, do they?
I mean, some will now, I'm sure.
Oh, the last is... let's not go there. Anyway, 6-6. So, Generic team, they have 6 rounds now. Fish123, this is where the pressure's on them. They need to find 9 or 8 here if they want a chance of winning this game. Who won the pistol? Was it Fish123?
It's going to be the shotgun of Isaac, actually. Just to touch
let's forget about that. We'll talk about that later.
The shotgun of Isaac, it's been played in what is considered one of the shotgun angles of Cobblestone, but it lands the shot, which now kind of makes Fish have some second thoughts on, okay, do we actually want to push this? But then to add to that even further, it's a man disadvantage. Now, Fish, I would say that they haven't really been struggling to play off of that, but it's still something that's going to sit in the back of their mind.
1 minute 15 on the clock. Trouble here for the boost. He's gone for it again. This is what you need to do. You need to make the play and try and even out the numbers. Not even even out the numbers. It's, they have the 1-man advantage. Maybe this is quite an aggressive pick. Does catch Weber off guard. Pickles in mid. Does catch Major Lee off guard. 1-man lean though. Still for GTN. The Molotov going towards Whorehouse will stop the rotation. They want to take this A side back. They need to flash over and go now.
They are going to be biting the bullet. They are running, charging full speed at their opposition. Pickles will find one, but it's going to be the same old repetition. 1-for-1 trades, exactly what we've seen in the past. There's Trouble looking to get himself onto the site, deny that plant. He does his job. Yes, there are 40 seconds on the board, but he's done enough. He can sit tight now. He can just hold that angle. Zeo, he's going to be left in such a tough one, a predicament that he cannot physically worm his way out of. There's Trouble. He peeks anyway, and he secures the frag. 7-6 will be the scoreline, and the CT side are pretty damn close to winning the half. Now for GTN, this is incredible.
Incredible, yes. But is it enough? You've got to think about the first time they played this map versus ZenX. When they picked it, and they had 12 CT rounds, and they only managed to get 2 T rounds on the board.
On a map like Cobblestone, that's... What a way to throw back the mood.
Think about when we saw UFrag play Trainer the first week, and we saw them play it the second week. Such stark differences. Will we see it again for Generic team name? Look like they might be on 8 rounds here.
8 rounds? It's what they need on the CT side. They have everything they need in this tool set, but you certainly raise some questions in terms of the solidarity in their T side. That's really where our eyes are going to be drawn towards now. How is this second half going to swing? Of course, getting themselves to 8 is one thing. we still can expect to see at least one more buy round coming out from the Fish side, so it will be intriguing to see if GTN can take themselves to that position of 9. For now, let's see if GTN can keep it clean. Trouble. We'll find the headshot on towards Franken. Pickles, he's in a good spot with the Deagle in terms of
they need to
having
keep
to
it
go
clean
anywhere.
as well, as you mentioned. They need to keep it clean because the money, even though they've won a few rounds, the money isn't too strong.
It's just off the sheer amount of damage that's been inflicted both of these teams.
It's a lot of 1v1s that have been going in favour of GTN. Expecting 8-6 here, let's pick it up huge.
The one perk for him was he could go to on east site. His target choice has been the east site, and unfortunately for that, takes the longer range duels. Doesn't quite connect the headshots with the Deagle, only getting onto those shoulders, and the lead were not quite living up to the hype. So 8-6 is going to be the score, and this is what we look towards. This is pretty much one of the penultimate rounds when it comes down to how this game is going to swing, at least in this first half, and will set the tone for the pistol. Fish, what can they do here that's different? Should they change things up, or should they just play the same way they've been playing, but just more formulated? And
well, they know that UKCSGO are playing 1A. You've seen what's happened before majorly. They've been able to get up mid, and they've been flanked from long. They know that they're playing 1A. Maybe try and bait that out, force a rotation to go towards A and then hit B. I'm not really too sure, as they have no presence towards drop, so they can't do the split. It's going to be so much easier for GTN to hold off.
it is going to be a quick barreling
It's
push. The
not good
side swipe going straight over. Isaac going to get completely shut down in quick succession. Cryptic's now standing in the fire and the flames, but he's acknowledged. He's become one with the fire, but AHB still going to shut him down either way, fighting it back with the water. But even then, Zio still finds the headshot, and in return, it leaves us with a bit of a flailing spirit because it's a 2v2. The bomb hasn't quite been collected though, and that's pretty uncomfortable because you have to acknowledge his position towards drop. The smoke is going to go down, acting as a bit of a shroud, but it's still there. It's still the ever-prevalent form.
It was such a bad setup from the CTs there. I'll go into more detail after this round's over. I mean, we've got 2 versus 2 here, 50 seconds of the clock, low HP on HP, but the 2 kits and the Molotov and the smoke. So they can smoke themselves out. Door, go to rock, Molotov, where they believe the player is, maybe molly off B platform, maybe molly out chicken coop, or even the default site itself.
The flashes, they are going to be popped off, and you have to just really acknowledge the fact they've picked up that bomb, but they have to make the cross, and we're coming down to 35 seconds, give or take some now as Weber finds the headshot, and that alone begins to drop down these numbers. Major Lee, he's all that's left.
Doesn't want to give away his position as well.
He might be Lee, but can he go major? Can he live up to his name at this point? As a 1v2 in this sort of position is going to be pretty damn difficult. You look at these positions right now, he's got some individual peaks that he can take, but it is just that relying on him hitting the shots as the bomb will go down, and a lot of pressure going to build up on his shoulders. A flash will be popped, gives him some room to work himself with. But yeah, blinding himself, perhaps trying to see the light. Who knows?
Like the production. The lights are off, so who knows whose favourites in right now. GTN, Major League, does get the first contact to Zio. The 1 versus 1 has the Molotov as well. Once he spots out Weber, unfortunately, the molly will not go towards Weber is.
Even if he was sitting on that platform, the Molotov was not quite going to hit either way, so certainly does present a bit of a dull point in the round, as now Weber should be able to take one nice and comfortably defuse with being stuck, but
the CT setup in that round was awful. You had 1 player platform, 2 players towards outside drop and rock. You're not watching for the jump out. The player platform can only see the players that are on the box and on the platform. You can't spot when the players jump out and go towards speedway with the flash. And what happened? 2 players got caught off guard.
where would you suggest they play instead then? Quick fire succession, what sort of spots would you look
you should be
towards?
seeing one. Okay, so there's loads of different ways you can play this, but generally you want to have a player speedway to watch for the jump out, and then a player playing either on platform or towards chicken coop. Statue watching the right side of the box and play B platform, or play underneath the platform. You see the angle. I believe it was Mighty Max with the UMP in the last game. That spot there is so good. When the players jump out, you just shoot them in the back, and then have a player that's playing towards, as I mentioned before, chicken coop site and whatnot, watching the right side of that box.
Well, you've imparted your wisdom on us, but it's time for us to swing straight into the second side now, as it is going to be Frank to kick things off. A quick headshot on towards Major Lee, but back from towards things will swing. Zio just tapping away, being ever so consistent, but nonetheless the shots, they're still flailing left, right and centre, and it leaves GTN in such an awkward one now as AHB, he's all but left a 1v2. He's did through the smoke. He's got the bomb on his back, so bear in mind, he can still run towards the A side, but he's having some second thoughts. Eventually, he's going to make that sprint, but actually,
I don't know how I feel about this.
Back.
I feel like the bomb going down is so important if you're the T side. Get the bomb down. Only have to eco 1 round. So you make it 9-8. You're only down 1 round, and then you can buy that gun round and reset the CTs. So yes, the plant will come out. So even if he does lose the 1 versus 2, we will be seeing the buy in the subsequent round following the next one. What can HB make now? Make of this situation now?
I really want to see his perspective of this, as he is just going to be peeking around this truck, looking for those 1v1s, but the CT side, they're being smart about this. They're peeking together, the same sort of lanes. He's right behind them. Nonetheless, it's still that same blunt ending. Webber finds the headshot, and Pickles going to be the man on the defuse.
Fish123 not opting to give up drop that easily. 3 frags nice and early in the drop down. Doesn't allow the B split to come out. Instead, AHB left in the 1 versus 2. Does find 1 frag and smartly goes towards A, and he does get the bomb down, which is so important as we'll see the eco come out. They could even force this and try to catch the CTs off guard, but no, they'll play it nice and safe. I take that back.
Yeah. Now I feel like you have to do some sheer like re-explanation on what it's.
So why are they doing this? They're going to go for the half bite because they want to. We saw what happened on the CT side when they lose pistol, they double save. They don't want to play 5 rifles. They want Trouble to be on the AWP.
Webber has just got so much information. He's spotted them all, and he is going to be dropping them dead. Eventually will be traded out by Isaac, but even then, is it going to be enough for Zeo? Tapping away with the USB, finds himself a frag, and Cryptics now pushing up close and personal. Isaac, 1 HP. He's going to be checked. The bomb is going to be dropped. And Trouble. His work completely cut out for him.
That's the AWP getting 600 kills, $600 as well.
I hope he's not getting 600 kills in a round.
Or maybe if he DMs a bit before.
Who knows?
Anyway,
Generally would be a solid piece of advice.
As I mentioned before, the half buy coming out there, so they will have a full, very good buy leading to the next gun round, but they've allowed Fish123 to go into double digits, potentially forfeiting this round as we're only seeing armor and 3 players and pistols out, so firepower lacking. Question is, what can they do in their first gun round? What do you want to see? Yeah, what do you want to see?
I think from a gun round point of view, it'd be nice to see just go for a flat out execute. That, or there's always the other
What's the
option.
point in saving for an AWP if you're going to do a smoke execute and play close range?
You raise a solid point. You do raise a point.
They want to play for picks.
They could play for a pick on towards the B platform area if they walk out slowly. It's something that we have seen become more and more prevalent, but in the same sort of regard,
I think
I'm always a fan towards A.
I think a smart decision would be go towards A long, try and take the 1v1 duel there, and also find out the situation in terms of what is the CT setup towards A. If you spot 2 players there, you can take advantage of that and rush B in the following rounds. So Trouble with his AWP number 5 on the map, and he is going towards A, so he is watching for that push towards Long and Webber. He might walk into his scope.
It's all about point and explanation, and right now we've explained how they got to this point. We've explained what we can possibly expect, both from the opinionated angles. Right now, these angles that are being held, they're not actually leading to too much.
The thing is, we saw lots of play this passive as well. I mean, it's fine to play passive at the early stage of the round, but I want Trouble to leave A quite soon and go towards B and try and get a pick. Because right now, his AWP and his investment and the double save is completely useless.
Yeah, they're always running towards sort of my sort of game plan, which is why it's not really working out for them, right? Because it's the subtle mistake of...
Don't tell Eclipse that.
Yeah, I'll try not to, right? I mean, the problem is that you do sum it up in a nutshell. Why save for the AWP when you're not actually going to do too much with it? It's what we berated Ufrag for last night, right? Pickles and they will train things backwards and forwards. Frank will find 1, make that 2 for Troubles, doubles up for his money. Leaving Isaac in trouble with...
Why are you double saving and not using the gun? They double save 4 to his full advantage. Why not play for the fast picks? Why play nice and slow? I mean, fair enough. Maybe they expect Fish123 to be on SMGs that they saved. That could be a point. Maybe try to go for a double long push. Thing is, you can do that with rifles. You can play, statue or whatnot towards a mid, team mid, sorry. Watch the pushes that way and have the AWP go somewhere more impactful. Go towards drop as we saw there went in the later round. But 1 versus 4, what's the point?
No, I do agree with you. I think you've imbued something onto me today. I've picked up on something, which is at the end of the day, if you are going to save for something, you have to not necessarily play passive with an AWP. And I do think to take that even further and really hammer this point home, Trouble is a player that has been hitting his shots. It's not like he's been missing stuff. He doesn't need to play passively.
Grow up here.
Yeah, pretty much. Just grow up here, Trouble. Go for some flare-based play. Try and do something crazy. Try and get that clip of people screaming your name. Because he could hit it. You don't know if you're not going to hit it unless you try. Yes, motivational speech 2016.
Jesus, you make a great coach. No pun intended there. So DM with his designated Mag 7, so good at that gun, nets himself 1.8k in cash. 2 frags for him. Barrel on the flank, flashing over mid. Frank's are going to face and take down these pistol and Mag 7 players. You would hope so.
You would hope. It's going to be a bit of an interesting way to approach things. Eventually, he's going to find himself the headshot with that Tech 9. It will be quick trades nonetheless, leaving Snakey in that 1v2, but he's going to find his frag. Now he has the opportunity to have pretty much maneuverability to go to any possible site. As you mentioned, B could be that target, but something gives me an inkling that he's not quite going to stick by this as he heads back up towards the same site, heading over towards Long.
He's overthought it, hasn't he?
Frank is going to be there heading towards Long as well, so this is going to be pretty much a straight face-off. Now, these guys are equal, but Snakey's holding the angle. Frank, he's going to go for the peak. But
that's a tilter. That's definitely got to get in that mind of Frank. I mean, he is a very veteran player. Was a professional player in Source, took a 7-year break. I mean, he's only got 1,200 or so hours on the game. I mean, he doesn't like playing overpass. He says he hasn't really ever played it, so Cobblestone was in Source, but wasn't in the designated map pool. It was one of the custom maps, not custom maps, but non-played maps, like a Dust 1 or Aztec.
It wasn't in the official map.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe Cobblestone might be a bit strange for him.
Who knows? He's going to be the initial pick being found by
Thank
Trouble.
God
He
it's
goes for the
finally
aggressive
got
peek, and
an impact.
he's doing what you needed to do. He's striking out. He's moved away from the parents, and he's looking to do his own bit in the world, as he will find that initial pick for his team. And now we have to kind of race towards the next point. We're going down the list, down the hierarchy. GTN, they have themselves a pick. What are they going to do with it?
Fish123 though, they need to make a play and try and make this a 4 versus 4. That's what Cryptix is doing right now.
Got himself up on this pedestal, just going to be holding the angle, and this is perfect for him.
Fall back.
No response that can be made. Is he going to fall back, though, is the question. You certainly alluded to the fact that you think that should be the case.
Yep, nice. So now 4 versus 4.
He does do just that, so living up to exactly what you want, but nonetheless, it's going to be a backwards and forwards swing as the D-side coming up trumps with every single throw. A quick 3K, the shot going to be missed by Weber, over towards Connector, and this one makes this completely doable. Weber eventually finds the second shot on towards Trouble, but this is a 1v3, the bomb ticking away.
Snaky taking such initiative in there. He realizes that the player's close platform, won't be expecting the flash push, flashes 2 players, gets the kill on the player that was platform, that's Cryptix, he dies, pushes Speedway, gets another frag on that player Rock, and also the frag going in favor of GTN towards drop as well, so important. And a flurry of 3 frags happens, and that's going to be another round on the board for GTN.
Oh, we were a little concerned at the start whether they'd actually be able to do anything with that initial pick. Albeit it took a while for them to get there, but those quick 3 frags, what else can you ask for?
Lights are on a bit.
Yeah, the lights are on.
Surely, I'm not really too sure
I think I know why. It's because a pause is coming, which means the stream have to put up with seeing our wonderful faces.
Let me take my monster off the table.
Oh, casual sellout.
Casual plug.
Casual plug.
It's not CSGO on Twitter. Get at me.
I have to kind of throw in the earpiece now. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. Sliding that one back in. Oh wow, that can be taken in many different ways. Gotta be careful about what you say and how you arrange it.
Stays off camera. What can I say? 10-11. Yeah, Frankster's DC'd again.
It's unfortunate. What can he do?
pulled his internet after losing that 1 versus 1.
Wow.
He's a timeout, so he's DC'd.
Yeah, for sure. We know he's timed out. That's a given. Let's look back at this one. Let's open up the history books. How do we get to this point, and what do we think is going to change? Do we think, for a start, GTN actually have a chance of closing this one out with a win?
That's a hard call.
Taking some deep thought.
I mean, right now, when we saw Generic Team play Cobblestone first, such a big difference in terms of how they're playing their T side. Trouble's AWP, you saw the difference between 1 round and the 2nd round. First round he plays passive, nothing works for him. He's in a 1 versus 4. Second round is like, I spend 5k on this, I might as well use the bloody gun. What does he do? Goes B, finds the first pick, and Cryptix does get the trade, but Cryptix dies when Snaky takes the initiative, flashes himself through the Olaf Meister smoke, gets 2 frags as he runs up Speedway, opens up the B bomb site. Right now, GTN, they're not even taking control of drop, are they? They're more so just getting control of the sites, and Fish123 losing the retakes. What would you think they need to do? I mean, I've alluded that GTN are playing well. What do you think the counter play has to be for Fish123?
I think for Fish right now, the one thing that's worked for GTN is they haven't really been going for the site with a set game plan. They've effectively been playing as if they're looking for trades.
Yep.
But the problem is they're not actually getting trades. Now, that's not necessarily a problem for GTN, right? Because they're actually getting huge man advantages. That's where the 3Ks and the quick 4Ks are coming from.
Frank's
so for
on
Fish,
Steam. That's good. Sorry to cut you in there. Just
Frank's there. He's back.
For the viewers at home, be in shortly.
But the point I'm trying to kind of stress here from the Fish perspective is that they clearly know they're giving away these individual peaks. That's got to be a given at this point. They've got to know because
they think they're in their heads. They might think they're better players.
Yeah,
well, they definitely do.
At this point, they are. We know they're the better players. That's a given.
Yeah,
no one's going to disgruntle the fact that they're not the better players.
But
that doesn't mean anything when you're in a BO2 separated into 2 BO1s. Anything can happen. Getting the 1-1 right now, should I say, for GTN, they're feeling on top of the world in comparison to Fish. Right now, they're thinking, guys, hang on. We're practically at an equal standpoint against guys that should be getting nowhere near.
It's about to be 11-11, considering that Fish123 are going to be on our eco. So, we'll be equal unless something crazy can happen. I mean, Zio's got armor and a CZ. We know he's so good at those close-range weapons. But if it does go to 11-11, and it comes down to that buy round, if Generic Team can win this, and based on the momentum they have, how many rounds are they running? What? 1 in a row. Jesus.
There we go. Though. You've got to pronounce it at the end of the word.
Been up for a bit too long. Jesus. Anyway. 2 rounds in a row. Take that back. Fish123 won 4, and then Generic Team they won 2. So, if they win 3 and they make it 11-11, momentum's in their side, and it's going to be live now. The Eco comes out. 2 AWPs now. If they show that they're playing 2 AWPs, Fish123, they might be too scared to play aggressive. They don't want to walk into the AWPs. If you know GTN are playing double AWP setup, don't peek them. Instead, allow them to take the site and win the retake that way. Or play the close range duel, use the flashes to your advantage. and win that way.
At least the game plan right now, in the context of this round, the 22nd at that, is going to be just almost segregation. They want to split off these CT sides and say, you know what, you all can go into your own individual boxes, and from there, we're going to pick you one by one and find this frag. And that's pretty much all they've done so far. They took the peek towards drop, they just pre-fired that angle, they waited, it got handed to them on a nice platter. Now they're looking to add to that meal. They want to build it up into one hell of some fabulous cuisine. As the entirety of the CT side, they're all in individual-based spots. The only arguably team play-based position could be that drop spot, but even then, the rotates, they're coming in and completely changing
I
up
mean,
that
at this point, you're going to have to see a hero play coming out from one of these players on Fish123 if they want any chance of winning this round, but
it's less about whether they can win and more about how much they can do.
I was about to say, we should really be talking about the next round as well. If Zero dies here, especially as he's the only player with armor, yeah, so let's talk about the next round here. This is probably going to be GTM. The question is, how much can they not lose?
Well, let's look at the economics. Let's bring them up for a second. We can see.
Well, once the round ends, we'll go into that, just in case something crazy happens. You never know.
You're not quite riding off completely. We have
Here
seen it today. Is this your big moment?
No,
this is what you set up to be.
And spread on again. Goodbye. Isaac there, the nice 2K. That's going to be a Twitch highlight on his stream. Isaac-y.
It's actually pretty interesting the way they qualified, right? You look at that.
Yeah,
let's look at that. That's actually an interesting. Yeah, I mean, when you're beating Vatic, I think
they beat Vatic 2-0 on Cash and Mirage.
You know what? I more power to them. Like if you're
Why are they not picking Cash and Mirage? Then again, they seem pretty good on Dust 2 and Cobble. Maybe, you know, Fish123, they saw the qualify, saw that Vatic lost on Cash and Mirage. I thought, you know what, boys, we'll just veto those.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be the game plan. Maybe trying to be a bit more of a tactical-based element. But right now, at least on Cobblestone, it feels much more like Fish have kind of met their maker, so to speak, a Trouble.
Once again, this is what I want to see, the fast aggression. But the problem is, will he win the duel, or will one of these rifles take him down? Will he expect the off angle as well from the tree angle?
Looks like he was peeking dead set towards him, so great stuff coming out from him. Whether he can actually translate that into a frag, of course, still that same repetitive.
Oh, they might get boosted on box here.
If they boost on a box,
yes,
it
they
could be perfect, and they're going to be doing it. This gives them pretty much the clear line of vision over on towards Fountain. He spots him out, gets the frag on towards Pickles, and he's living up to exactly what he wanted. Frank is going to find the return trade, so perhaps looking to be a bit more disheartening. Trouble going to miss the shot, but bear in mind, Cryptix is still standing. He can spot him out, but Trouble, come on, we've got the pressure on your shoulders. Trouble, please. That's not going to be a highlight right there. How disheartening. It's going to be the mop-up coming on in. Isaac will find the frag on towards Cryptix.
Trouble, mate, come on. He played it so well, gets the boost, you know.
Everything was so good.
Yeah, throws the smoke to the left side of the box, gets boosted up, gets the pick onto Pickles that's playing Statue. Why have you not taken advantage of that? Why not just flash yourself through and push towards the B site? You have the one-man advantage, just play the trade game. Instead, they get cold feet and Trouble trying to get another pick. Does go down as he whiffs two easy shots, you could say, onto Cryptix, and then has a nice flick, but the nice flick was onto his teammate. Gosh, I wish I knew the comms.
I wish I got to hear the comms on that. That would have been a thought in itself. But now we move on into this matchup. 12-11 is going to be the scoreline, and well, at least we get to see that AWB still in play. Let's see if Trouble can rescind himself for previous issues. Certainly don't want him to change the way he's playing off the back of that. I still think he should be going aggressive, as you mentioned, something we've been stressing.
You could laugh that round off. Yeah,
you have to just kind of shrug it away and go, okay, mistake we made.
Smart play there, flushing out Cryptix. It's be one-man lead now already. 1 minute 10 on the clock, so T's don't have to, you know, fall into the CT's grasp here. They can play nice and slow and try and even out the numbers, go 4 for 4, and find a pick towards A or B, as there is no on drop. So once they get control of drop, that's when the decision can be made to go either A or B. And I believe that is Isaac as well. He's playing outside A, so if they can find a pick from a CT playing aggressive, or if he can win the 1 versus 1 duel here, we can see the drop take coming from generic team name and the split A.
Well, it sounds like you've pretty much set the round up, and now we're just waiting to see if it's going to fall or really begin to take hold as Weber.
Good night.
I'm going to say, well, yeah, pretty much good night, sweet dreams to Isaac, laying him to bed. It is now the rest of this T side to try and rehash what has previously failed. Looking to fill that hole on towards the site, and they've ran right past what is that lurker of Weber, and this pretty much just leaves them to basically get turned into a, well, simply put, a bit of a paddy at this point. Zio, he's going to hold the angle, finds the first, looking out for the second.
The trade, though.
The trades are good, but they're always going to favour the CT side. As you look at their positions, there's just not enough that can be done. They get themselves a plant, but it's just such an easy frag for Weber to swing in from behind and find.
Momentum lost now for GTN as well. That's going to be so important as Fish123 pick up 2 rounds in a row and completely decimate the T attack coming out from GTN. So, 12-11. Money about to witness it. They can buy. They can drop the op. HP can drop an op to Trouble. Trouble get one pick and play off that. I mean, there's two ways you can play it. You can either get the one pick towards B and then swarm the site with the man advantage, or you can get the one pick, play nice and slow, try and get a second, try and make the CTs push into you. Once they're on a man down, that's when the CTs have to make the plays, try and even the numbers. Expect that, try catch them off guard as they go for the aggression. Try to win off that.
For now, let's see what these tech guys can do, as it is going to be hard and fast. Isaac to find it first. Pickles looking to claim his own stake in the round, and they line up for him. And he finds himself 3. Will eventually be traded out. So nonetheless, a 2v2. The bomb has found its way down, of course, as well. Immediately has got the rifle. So there's a lot of potential for this T side, but Zeo going to get himself in towards the second room now, and from there, look to really make the best of things.
That Molotov could be used in so many better ways. And anyway, we'll be seeing the T after plant coming into play. So, rifles as well, no AWP onto trouble. Let's see what we can make of the rifle. Zeo though, he has flashes, but catches. Usually off guard, trouble here with the one. Can he get the spread? I know he can't. Does
Close
get
though.
Traded out. Yeah.
I think we have to give them credit for how close they were able to bring that, especially considering the fact that Zeo held a very, what should have been expected position, but it was something they let him get away with either way.
Unfortunate as well for Major League. He threw the Molotov down. He expected someone to be a close drop, I think. I'm not really too sure. Could have been a misclick. But anyway, no presence towards drop from the CTs. Doesn't expect someone to be there. Instead goes to watch B plat. The player that's rock doesn't expect the player that comes, the CT player that comes out drop. Flanks him. He goes down. Trouble in the 1 versus 2 gets traded out. That's going to be 14 on the board now. Momentum, as I mentioned before, lost as Fish123 win 3 in a row.
From a comfortable point of view for this T side, again we find ourselves staring down the barrel of a narrative that pretty much sets them in the stars as a team who tried so hard, but in the end, they're not getting that W. Unless they can be absolutely incredible right now in this round, then we're looking at Fish really kind of striking out, looking for that second win for themselves.
It's not just that, but as well, you think GTN have played so well, but what did they even get from it? Nothing. 0-2.
Yeah, it's just not exactly what we want, not quite the cherry on top.
They're still in this game though.
Yeah, anything can still happen. This round is pretty much a huge part of that, but Weber.
Isaac's lost the duel again towards A. Weber takes down Isaac. Pickles now as well, holding this off angle towards the plant. At Statue will take down AHB, 2-man lead now for Fish123.
Cryptic's going to find another, and 1 by 1, GTN, they will fall. Trouble will find a pick in return, but the trades, they are plentiful. They are ones that are leading Fish right on through. We're going to be looking at a bit of a fight. We'll find the headshot on towards Theo, so making this one nice and competitive. Now looking for the continuous spray down. He does the job and gets it to a 1v1, but Weber not quite going to let it fall on through as we get ourselves to match point for Fish123.
I'm trying to think which IGL called this or said this. Was it from a top 4 team? Could have been Happy, I'm not too sure, but a player, an IGL from a top 4 team once said that the AWP is only useful in the first 45 to 50 seconds of the round. Following that, that's when it's not as good in the after plants and the retakes. I mean, fair enough, in the T after plant it can be good, especially on a site like B, when you can play chicken coop and have the long angles. But anyway, Cryptic's hit, he's playing under balcony now. Spam does tag up a little bit, but they are going to jump into his crosshair, takes down 1, gets traded.
The trades, they are still, yet again, the crucial factor of Pickles. He's just going to be given so many angles, so many facets to swivel on around, go for these repeaks, and seems like he is going to be the man to plow on through. Trouble, he's the last man remaining. He will be looking to kick up a bit of a fuss, but it's going to be the nade to end the job. 16-11 will be the scoreline. But once again, I find myself still looking at GTN and going, they put up a good fight.
Yeah, I mean,
especially